Hey there, my name is Stephanie and I'm with Grant Halliburton Foundation, and we are a nonprofit that focuses on mental health. And so I want to talk about one aspect of mental health today, which is to discuss a little bit about managing difficult emotions. Believe it or not, emotions seem simple on the surface, but in reality, sometimes they can be pretty complex. Sometimes we don't know exactly what we're feeling. For example, maybe on the outside, we're showing a lot of happiness and joy when we're hanging out with our friends, and we feel like we should be really happy, but on the inside, we're feeling kind of, down or uncomfortable. Sometimes we might feel a lot of anger towards someone, and when we really examine it, we're like, man, I actually am kind of afraid of losing them. And so our emotions can be kind of difficult to untangle sometimes. So I want to give you some ideas on how to do that. So we really can do that through 4 simple steps, which is notice, name, accept, and reflect. So first step, right? Noticing what's going on, noticing that you're feeling some strong emotions. Again, whether that's anger, frustration, sadness, sometimes we don't know, but saying like, hey, I can feel my whole body like tensing up, or I can feel, a lot of pain right now, and sort of just noticing it and allowing ourselves to feel that way. The next step is name, right? So this is the tough part. This is finding out, okay, well, like, what am I feeling? Am I feeling anger? Am I feeling sadness? Sometimes it's helpful to find a quiet place when you're feeling those strong emotions to go so that you can examine it and kind of try to name it. And on top of that, sometimes it's also helpful to name what it's not, right? So like, I'm pretty sure this isn't happiness. And then kind of walking through and being like, I don't think it's anger. I don't think it's shame. What exactly is it? I think it might be, I'm really scared. And so just trying to find that and name it. Okay, third step is accepting it. This is so crucial because a lot of the times we feel like we're not allowed to feel something, or we shouldn't feel something. We tell ourselves like, oh, well, I shouldn't feel this way. In reality, we feel what we feel. There's no right or wrong. Like, our emotions are our own, and we're going to feel things. And so really accepting it and being like, hey, I know that I'm sad right now, and I accept that I'm sad, and sitting with it and not throwing yourself through that shame and I shouldn't and all that stuff. Okay, and then the last step is reflect. So once we've accepted it, once we've kind of sat with it and be like, this is what I'm feeling and it's okay, then we want to reflect on it and be like, okay, like why do I feel this way though? What triggered this emotion? If you were happy one minute and you're hanging out with friends and then suddenly you feel something, sad deep down in your gut, then say like, what happened in that moment that made me feel this way? Maybe try to figure out what are some steps you can take to take care of yourself, right? Like, what are some ways that you can move through the emotion, and what can you do to nurture yourself as you're going through that? And so, it's really important as you go through this as well to recognize that emotions are fleeting. They will come to an end. Emotions don't last. So we're not constantly angry, even when we feel like we're going to be, even when we're like, man, I feel like this is never going to end. The truth is that, we change, we adapt, we're resilient by nature. And so those emotions will fade. We just have to give them some time and accept them. And maybe think of a time where you were feeling a really intense emotion and then you were able to move more toward joy and contentment. Like, has there been a time where like, man, I woke up having a terrible day. And by the end of the day, I actually was like having a great time. Like, we do change. We do move through things. And so it's important that we recognize that. So thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions about the content of this video, if you have any suggestions, if you are curious about more resources, please feel free to reach out at info@granthalliburton.org. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.